Is a disc really better than a cartridge? Well, we're going to talk about that right now. Ah, discs and cartridges. Something that have been around for a long time. But which one do you think is more superior? Well, I'll give you my personal opinion on the topic right now. I think that cartridges are more superior to discs, and I'll tell you why. Picture back in the 80s. Nintendo has always been innovators, even since back then. They've always been outside the box thinkers. They still are to this day. You see, back in the late 90s, we switched to discs because we always thought you could hold more media on a disc. Well, let me just give you a perfect example. Since the Nintendo Switch has been out, they use cartridges that have graphics that they are cartoony, yes, but dare I say, do compare to a lot of games you see on the Xbox and the PlayStation. Take Fortnite, for example, the most popular game now. Nintendo does graphics that are similar to that, and the graphics are definitely comparable, if not better. Now I know what you're thinking, those are, like say Mario Odyssey and then Fortnite, two totally different kinds of games. But I'm just giving that example. If a cartridge can hold that kind of media, there is no reason that Xbox and PlayStation cannot use cartridges. Let me give you my biggest pet peeve. Alright, say you're at your house, right, playing video games. You got a little brother, sister, cousin, whatever. They come over, they get a hold of one of your discs. And I can say from experience, I've had this happen to me. I had one of my parents' friends, they have a daughter, she's young. She came over a couple years ago, took a disc like this. I think it was Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2. They took the disc, threw it like a frisbee across the room. Did it break? No. But when you get one deep gouge in a disc like this, you might as well throw it away because you're never going to get it to work again. Now a cartridge, if she'd have taken this and punted it across the room, I could have picked it back up, maybe blew in it real quick, stuck it in there, and it would work just fine. Worst case scenario is, they say blowing in it, you're not supposed to do that. Worst case scenario, I take a bottle of alcohol, dip a cotton swab in there, clean this out a little bit, and pop it in, and it's worked every time. See, I've had cartridges that were loaded with milk and orange juice and the grossest substances that you can think of, cleaned it out, stuck it back in, and it works just fine. That was on my Game Boy Advance SP, by the way. So those 2 points alone should be enough to tell you that a cartridge is better than a disc. Okay, so I know a lot of games nowadays are online. You don't really, a lot of people don't buy discs anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, they're still in the stores plentiful. Xbox and PlayStation still make discs. They still put games on discs, like even Fortnite. They have Fortnite on a disc. Believe it or not, if you haven't heard of it. You could go to Walmart and find Fortnite on a disc. I think PlayStation and Xbox should switch to cartridges. See, you can't have the argument anymore that a disc holds more media than a cartridge. Maybe it still does. But Nintendo Switch uses a cartridge about like that big, has graphics comparable to the Xbox and the PlayStation. Now just imagine if we had something this size. If you had something like this, I mean, I know, it's bigger, it takes up more space, that's why the Switch has smaller cartridges. But if you had something this size, I feel like with the technology we have nowadays, you could have a game that is easily, by far comparable to GTA 5, Call of Duty, games like that. You could have graphics like that on cartridges like this. Obviously not the N64 that I have in my hand, but if a Nintendo Switch can have the kind of graphics, like I said, that are comparable on a cartridge a few inches tall, but like an inch or two wide, there's no reason that Xbox and PlayStation can't do it. I think we should get rid of discs and bring cartridges back. Even if you don't want to have them this big, still, like I said, Nintendo has, a different kind of graphic, genre, I guess. They use like more cartoony styled graphics. So for Xbox and PlayStation, they'd have to, get a little bit more advanced, maybe make the cartridges a little bit bigger. But once they did that, I would get rid of discs, period. Because discs, I'm not going to say they break, because you got to put a lot of effort to break a disc. But one little scratch, gouge, anything, it's going to be ruined. You can try to have it cleaned and everything else, but if it's deep enough, that disc is ruined. A disc that you went to the store because you bought the gold edition and you paid like $60, $80 for $100. And it's junk. A cartridge is better, people. You can think I'm crazy all you want, but I think a cartridge is way better than a disc. So let me know your opinion down in the comments. Do you think I'm completely crazy? Or do you agree with what I've said here? If you want to hear me go more in-depth about this topic with a little bit more scientific facts, let me know down in the comments. For now, this has been Straight Nate, and I'll see you in the next rant. Peace.